A lot of violence in their community. It is a reality for them. Any way that they know how to deal with something is just inherently to just, break out and lash out against it. So that is one thing that I definitely noticed. It was something that I would say really did define my kids when I want to be able to make choices that are informed. I want them to take informed decisions. And that would mean doing anything that they do with a reason, with a purpose. So if it's a job, I would want them to be passionate about it. I wouldn't want them to just do it because there's no other, what else can I do? So that's the vision that I have for them. School, and they went home and it was okay. But they didn't have something, like they didn't have anything that they really, really wanted to work towards. And I think it's great that now it's transferred from my dream to becoming their dream. One of the things that I wanted to bring into the class was actually the whole idea of decision making. I thought it was extremely important for kids to realize why they were doing things, not just be, but, think about every single thing they were doing. They still make a lot of awful choices sometimes, but it still makes me proud because when they make those choices, they come to me and they say, I did this because, and then this happened. And they're aware that what they did led to something unfavorable. Solutions, it's about communal violence in India. And it was one of the most challenging things I've done. Because like I said, it was done with me in college. I read it in college, I struggled with it in college, and then I had to bring that into my class. And at first I thought, let's just do it and let's do a few passages every day, let's see how it goes. But then because of where these kids come from and because of their realities, it made so much sense to them. Like they were connecting to the text in ways that I didn't expect because, they had enough background knowledge to make those inferences. I was in touch with my previous college. And they asked if I was willing to do a play for their international conference on literature and theatre in Mumbai. So we agreed and we rehearsed for 2 months every day for 3 hours after school, and they actually did a really good job. We had a 500-seat audience and it was phenomenal according to me. One thing that I really look for is consistency, because what I noticed with my kids is that one day they'll do something and then they get tired of being good all the time. And it's not just about being good. Like I want it to be more of an inherent, this is just the way I behave. They stopped doing it for a reward. They never did it because they were afraid of me, but they stopped doing it for a reward. They stopped doing it for praise. Sometimes they falter, but what I want is for it to become just inbuilt, like a habit. I noticed, for example, when Imran Khan would do something just to please me, which he did often. And I noticed when he stopped looking over his shoulder to see if I was looking as well. I wouldn't be able to explain it, but it's just a feeling that you get that now they just come in and sit down. It's not a, is Didi here or not? They'd come in and sit down. Bringing other things into class apart from just the objective, it's helped them to think and grow, which is one of the very, very essential parts of my vision, for them to be critical thinkers. And then in every single class, what I do is I make sure that I have a little bit of my vision, so a little bit of each bucket of my vision in that class. And that's again something that I learned from watching the videos at Good to Great, just how important it is to integrate all the aspects of your vision into your class. So if today I'm studying compare and contrast between Renaissance art and Impressionism, sure, they're learning how to compare and contrast and read and all of that, but they're also learning a lot about art in itself. They're learning a lot about, just thinking about what they're seeing. Because during break, one of the kids walked up to me and said, look at this picture in a random storybook. It looks like Impressionist painting because there are dots. So they're thinking about it, making connections. Here, they could spout off values, it's excellence and hard work and perseverance, and they knew what they meant, and they tell you stories about it, but you never see them actually putting it into action. It would be very occasional. So now I said, what values are important, but the deal is the meaning of the values. So let's put the values aside and let's just focus on what we actually do. Because now instead of saying, are you being hardworking? I can say, what is the choice that you're making? What's going to happen if you do this? I think that makes more sense to them. And being in my classroom has just calmed me down so much, because that's what I realized at the beginning of my second year, that if I'm going to teach my kids something, I need to be calm for them to be calm, for them to understand. So my volume reduced and everything, like, it was like a different person walked into school the second year, because there were structures in place, everything was smooth flowing, and that's something I definitely learned through the fellowship.